Hello, everybody, and welcome into my first video here on Around the Slice Entertainment. Well, technically, my first video was the other day when I made this welcome video for this channel, but this is like my first real actual piece of content there that I'm very excited to present and share with all of you. And today on today's video, I am giving you my review, my personal review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Very, very excited to share that. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to have a lot of movie reviews like this here on this channel. And also on this channel, my younger brother and I are going to every other week. So a bi-weekly podcast, the Around the Slice Entertainment podcast. We're going to talk about animated movies like Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks, all those big behemoth animated studios. But look forward to that. But for my Deadpool Wolverine review, this is how this review is going to work, and really any movie review you see in this channel going forward. I'm going to give you my positives, slash what I liked, and then my negatives slash what I didn't like. I only have one negative and one major issue that I took exception with that I didn't like for Deadpool and Wolverine. Then I'm going to give you a final score out of 10, just my personal final score. So for let's start with positives and what I did like. I loved, to start off, these are no in particular order, by the way, of priority, but I love the performances in this movie, specifically Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. When Hugh Jackman was first revealed to be coming back to play Wolverine, everyone was so excited. I wasn't as, this was a couple years ago in 2022 when it was revealed, so I wasn't as excited when it was announced. I understood the significance of it, but I hadn't seen, I wasn't as big into Marvel as I am today, or MCU, or comic book movies in general. But I understand the significance of it. But leading up to this, I watched the first two Deadpool movies, and I thought Ryan Reynolds was absolutely phenomenal in those two Deadpool movies, equally. In this third one, to start with Ryan Reynolds, he was on point. He sold this so well. And now when I think and see and hear quotes from Ryan Reynolds, he is the definitive Deadpool. When I see Ryan Reynolds, if this makes sense, when I see Ryan Reynolds, oh yeah, that's Deadpool. It's not Ryan Reynolds anymore. I barely even noticed in my mind that this was Ryan Reynolds. This was Deadpool. He is the definitive Deadpool, and I thought it was great. And then obviously Hugh Jackman, technically coming out of retirement for this third Deadpool movie, for Deadpool and Wolverine. I know they're best friends in real life, but I was not questioned, but I was kind of skeptical about how that would translate to the big screen, if you will. And it translated in one hell of a huge way. It was awesome to see. You could really see that best friend chemistry from real life translate to the screen. They just played off of each other so well. I honestly can't think who was better, Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman. They both were just behemoths of performances in this movie. And their chemistry, their tone, how they played off each other, how they riffed off each other with all the jokes and comedy, it was so good. I'm not going to say that this is Hugh Jackman's best performance, the definitive Hugh Jackman performance, because I'll have to go back and watch some of the X-Men and Logan movies that I haven't seen, but it's up there for now. I would probably say it's my favorite Hugh Jackman performance by default, because this is the only performance I've seen Hugh Jackman in. But I will have to check out the X-Men, and this movie has inspired me to, no matter how long it takes, to watch through all the X-Men movies and Logan on Disney Plus, now that they added those more mature movies about a year or so ago now. So I'm really excited for that. But these performances, Ryan Reynolds especially blew me away, but Hugh Jackman coming out of retirement, I don't know if he's going to stay out of retirement and go back in retirement permanently. But yeah, their best friend chemistry in real life really translated to the screen. They worked off of each other so well. Next, what I really enjoy, another big positive for me, was the cameos. I'm someone who has, like I just mentioned, has yet to see any of the X-Men movies or the Wolverine or Logan movies, I guess it's called, which is considered a masterpiece. So it's hard to describe. These cameos didn't really hit hard for me, because I wasn't super hyped off the X-Men lore, so I wasn't super hyped for any of these cameos. But when it was rumored there were going to be a bunch of cameos, and then confirmed obviously after I watched the movie, I was kind of wondering like how would they incorporate the cameos, because a lot of movies these days, a lot of like, especially a lot of like superhero slash comic book movies that have a lot of lore that go along with them, they kind of force cameos and fan service just for the sake of cameos. Like, oh yeah, look at this, we brought in all these characters, but then it ends up getting too messy and it's like cameos for the sake of cameos. This was not that at all. I thought this was really well written. The cameos didn't diverge from the main plot slash story and movie at all. They just fit very cleanly and very seamlessly into the whole plot. One in particular, I thought Channing Tatum's gambit was hilarious. You know the line, I'm gonna make my name for myself up in here. Like that's like an iconic line for a reason. That was awesome. But the cameos fit so well. It wasn't cameos just for the sake of cameos. They actually, all these multiple different cameos went along very nicely with the actual plot. They didn't distract whatever, like some movies struggle to do, or lack of struggle to do. I really enjoyed it. Once I watched the X-Men movies, these cameos will kind of register for me more. But even not watching those, I thought it was a great job of naturally incorporating all these different cameos. My next big positive is the comedy. Same as the rest of you guys, hopefully, go to Deadpool movies, not some hard-hitting action. Yeah, there was a lot of hard-hitting action in this movie. I didn't write this down, but the action was on par here, too. It probably has the most action of the 3 Deadpool movies to date, honestly, but the comedy and fourth wall breaking is still there that you expect from a Deadpool movie. I thought the first Deadpool was absolutely hilarious. Second Deadpool was absolutely hilarious. And I think the comedy and fourth wall breaking, it was taken to a whole nother level in this third installment film, Deadpool Wolverine. There were multiple adult jokes that I thought were absolutely hilarious. Like my whole theater, myself included, was like laughing the whole entire time. Hugh Jackman, not as much, but specifically Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, like he had the comedy to a T. I thought it was perfect. Like you go to a Deadpool movie to kind of be laid back and chill and like laugh. They're comedy movies at heart. They're not some hard-hitting superhero action movies. They had a lot of that, some of that in this movie, probably the most out of 3, like I said, to date. But the comedy and fourth wall breaking is still very much there. I laughed the most out of the 3 movies to date, and that's saying something because I laughed a ton with the first 2 movies. I was laughing the whole time, honestly. And then lastly, again, if you have any other positives or you have anything else you want to share or something I missed that you just loved, hated, or were indifferent on, let me know down in the comments below. I'm trying to get a lot of engagement on this channel. But the third thing that I loved was the pacing of this movie. Some movies, whether it's the beginning, the middle, or end, start off slow in the beginning or kind of meander in the middle, or worst of all, kind of drag 20, 30 minutes along. You're like, okay, let's get over with this. We get it. The story's wrapped up. But not this movie. Like, it was a little over 2 hours. I think it was like 2 hours and 8 minutes or something. And those 2 hours and 8 minutes, especially the first hour of the movie, absolutely flew by. And that can be dedicated because of the comedy, because of the performances, really everything as a whole. This movie just flew by. Obviously, this didn't happen, but let's just say hypothetically, the movie at theater I went to was AMC. So let's just say AMC played this like a second time in a row, back to back. If they played Deadpool Wolverine for the second time in a row, I would literally sit there for 2 more hours and not care and not blink an eye. Like this movie, especially the first hour, like I mentioned, absolutely flew by. I mean, the pacing was just so good. It never started slow in the beginning. It never meandered. It didn't know what was going on in the middle. It never dragged out for the last 20 or 30 minutes like a lot of superhero movies and just films and movies in general these days in the last like 5 to 10 years struggle to do. Like it knew its audience. It knew the pacing mechanics. That doesn't make sense. The pacing was just so good. But unfortunately, I do have one big negative. I understand you go to Deadpool movies, they don't have the most cohesive story in the world. They don't have the most like biggest, brightest action in the world. They don't have the most like, hard-hitting emotional stuff in the world. You go there for comedy. They're comedy movies at their heart. Fourth wall breaking, which I loved, and all that. Very present in this movie. But I thought the story in this movie, honestly, was kind of weak. I thought the story, I don't know how to describe it. The best way I can describe it is I thought the story in Deadpool Wolverine could have been tightened up a lot better, and it could have been a lot more cohesive and like smooth is the best way a lot smoother is the best way I can describe it. I understand it's a comedy movie at heart. Speaking of the comedy, I didn't mention this when I was talking about it. I thought they made fun of transition and acquisition from 20th Century Fox to the Disney transition and acquisition very, very well. That was really cool. They trying to made fun of themselves in the old way company, if you will. But back to the story, it could have been a lot smoother, could have been a lot tightened up better. I understand it's a comedy movie at heart, but it kind of felt all over the place, if you will, at times. It kind of felt like it trying to kind of struggled to find its footing, especially in the middle of the movie. Again, pacing was great, but I really wanted the story to be not a lot better, but just maybe marginally better, just a bit better, me personally. And I don't know if people share the same sentiment because of the cameos and they're clouded by the nostalgia of Hugh Jackman coming back and all this and that. And as someone who doesn't have nostalgia for X-Men, Logan, Wolverine movies like that on Disney Plus, the story was kind of bland for me. And to go along with the story, the writing of some of these characters are pretty underdeveloped. Like the main villain in this movie, like I can't even remember her name. The woman, the girl, I can't even remember her name. But I personally thought she should have and could have honestly been developed a lot better. And there were a couple other characters like that. Like maybe they could spend some more time in the cameos, but mainly the main villain, the girl, woman, I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. You guys can let me know down in the comments below. I guess it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but the story was just kind of like, I don't want to say it was a mess because that would be like unfair to the movie with all the other positives I had. It just kind of felt like, okay, what are we doing here? Like it struggled to find its footing at times, especially in the middle is the best way that I can describe it. But yeah, now for my final score. I mean, Deadpool Wolverine was a comedy through and through. It's the hardest I've ever laughed in quite a while with any movie, especially out of all three Deadpool movies. And all three Deadpool movies, the two before this, are damn hilarious. Yeah, I would probably like a mini ranking here just quickly. I would probably rank it. I don't think I like Deadpool Wolverine better. There's a notch below the first one. So my favorite is Deadpool. My second favorite is Deadpool Wolverine. The third one, a bit behind, like a good amount behind, is Deadpool 2. I just thought that movie was kind of like maybe slightly above average, but we'll review it here in the channel. I know it's out of order, but I'm just starting this channel and we'll review multiple different movies. So anyways, guys, my final score is a 9.5 out of 10 for this third film. So I'm giving Deadpool Wolverine officially, for me personally, a 9.5 out of 10. I just because of all the excellent things I mentioned, but if the story was tightened up a lot better and it maybe was not like a whole lot better, all I do is be even a bit marginally better. A bit marginally better, then it would have been a perfect 10 out of 10. But 9.5 out of 10, that's holding it back just a tad for me. I was going to go 9 out of 10, but that seemed too low. So 9.5 out of 10. And in terms of the MCU as a whole, like, is it bad? Is it not bad? There's been a lot of discussion about that. I just want to go, like, not on a rant here, but I want to share my thoughts on this. I personally have been someone post-Endgame that has liked the recent MCU projects from Kevin Feige and Marvel and the MCU projects a lot more, maybe not a lot more is the right term, but a bit more than other people seemingly. Like people have literally like acted like every single thing since Endgame has been trashed. Yeah, a lot of the shows other than Loki and Disney Plus have just been unneeded with the Disney Plus TV show era. And there's nothing consistent with the movies. I do like stuff like No Way Home. And I do like stuff like Black Panther Wakanda Forever, although I don't like it as much as the first one without Chadwick Boseman. But what can you really do about that? So I have liked projects more than others recently, but I will admit in the last few years since Endgame, really since Endgame in 2019 with phase, what are we on, 5 now? Middle of phase 5? With the TV show stuff, it has been underwhelming. I will admit that it's nothing, even though I like it more than others, it's nothing consistent. Like, we have a good movie every once in a while, then we go back to like very underwhelming, a few movies. Good, and then underwhelming. Like, I'm not going to say the MCU is fully back with Deadpool and Wolverine. We're heading in the right direction. Now, if we get like another grand slam, excellent movie, or even at the minimum, great movie out of the fourth Captain America film, Captain America Brave New World, that's coming out in a handful of months in February 2025. Can't wait for that, by the way. Then I'll say the MCU is fully back. If they can get to that level of consistency again, I think there's an argument to be made. I will even state my claim that they are fully back. I like the direction they're headed in this with Deadpool Wolverine, as I just gave it a 9.5 out of 10. There's been great projects here and there, like Spider-Man No Way Home or Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but then we've gotten all these like middling or pretty much for the most part underwhelming, and the TV shows have made it a mess as well. So I don't want to see good projects to great projects here and there. I want to see 2 or maybe even 3 good consistency projects in a row. So for now, I'm cautiously optimistic that the MCU is back, but I'll say it's fully back once we see consistency and not just great projects here and there. Go back to before Endgame where they were just consistently putting out banger after banger. So anyway, guys, this is my review for Deadpool Wolverine. Final score, 9.5 out of 10. Those are me breaking down my positives, negatives, what was disappointing about the movie. Again, only that one major issue I talked about in the middle of the video. Anyways, guys, this has been a great first piece of content on this channel. Make sure you tune into Around the Slice Entertainment podcast, where majority of it will be me and my younger brother and I, my little brother and I, talking about animated movies from your favorite animated studio behemoths like Pixar, Walt Disney Animation Studios, or Disney for short, DreamWorks, those stuff. Anyways, guys, this has been a great first piece of content on this channel, Around the Slice Entertainment. I will see you on the next video with most likely another movie review, non-animated. So yeah, thanks for supporting me, and I will see you next time. Bye.